So the next day I went to my mailbox and there was a letter from him. So I pulled the letter out and I started to read it, and you just almost knew, like, he knew he was going. He's like, "You're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're so beautiful. You're just like, I can't wait to get out. And let me tell you about this. I got saved in here. Let me tell you about Jesus."
Hey everybody, it's me, Julianne Hartman with The Journey, and we are on episode 2 of the Tia Combs story. Doesn't that sound like epic? And so if you did not watch the episode, I am telling you, you have got to go back to the first one and watch this. You're not allowed to watch this one until you've watched the first one, because we're going to move on from there. And this is incredible. And I'm not even going to give you a recap. You have to go back and watch. So, all right, Tia, thank you so much for for telling your story and just being so honest. And man, this is okay. So you now are you never married Charlie.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so she had a boyfriend named Charlie. Charlie and her were together for a couple years. She got pregnant. She has a child with Charlie. And now tell us what happened to Charlie.
So he went to jail.
No, why did he go to jail?
Oh my gosh. He kept getting in a lot of trouble. You know,
Was he a drug addict?
he had a drug problem.
Okay.
Yes.
Alcohol?
I think at the time it was crack.
Okay.
And we're in the 90s. And,
right.
You know, that was a thing then. And honestly, I really didn't even know. He hid that from me. I had an idea, like I caught him a couple times. I didn't know how bad it was.
Well, were you guys doing drugs together?
Not that. That was
but other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And that was like acceptable, or like that you knew about each other.
Yeah.
But the crack you didn't know about.
I had caught him once and he was like, "Oh, it's just a one-time thing." And but I didn't know how deep he had gotten into, and to the point where, he was doing a lot of things that I didn't know about.
So what did Charlie work? Did he have a job? And he support you guys?
I mean, he was young. We were both so young. Like out here on the beach, everybody kind of just like, I don't know. Not a lot of people worked. We were just like chilling and having a good time, and and he was selling weed and stuff like that. I mean,
Okay.
So,
I was gonna say, is that how he made money?
He did. He had little jobs here and there. He worked at a restaurant for a while, and a couple of them.
Okay.
So yeah.
And so, when you found out that you were pregnant, was that like, oh my gosh, or like, yay? I mean, like,
I didn't have any idea. So we had moved up to Fort Walton Beach. We got in my little car, ran up there, and I went to the doctor because I had a sinus infection. And they're like, "Oh, do you think you could be pregnant?" I'm like, "No." And they came back in. They're like, "Well," and I'm like, we were both speechless. We were like, "What?" Like we just stare at each other like, "What? How?" Like, well, we knew how, but
right.
So we packed all our stuff back up and came back here. Came back to Cocoa Beach.
So now, did you talk to your mom?
Yes, I did, and she wanted me to come back, and we had an okay relationship at that time. And my mom loved babies, so she just was like ready for a baby.
Yeah.
And so we did come back, and I had my baby. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so now tell me about what happened to Charlie.
So he got into some trouble and went into jail, and he had a brain aneurysm in jail, and they didn't know what was wrong with them, so they kind of waited a while to call the ambulance. They just thought he had passed out or something, and come to find out it was like a major brain aneurysm. So by the time he got to the hospital, he was brain dead. And so we went up there, and it was bad.
Let me ask you a question. What did you love about Charlie?
Charlie had a good heart.
Even
he
though
was loving and fun.
Yeah. Did he did something for you on the inside that you never felt?
He was my best friend. Like we got into a lot of trouble together, and we weren't doing the right thing, but he was my best friend. He was. And we had a lot of ups and downs. We fought a lot, but then we loved each other too. It's just like, it was not a healthy relationship, but it's what we knew, and we couldn't really get out of it. Like that's how we just loved each other. And he had a lot of good qualities.
Okay.
He did. He had a lot of good qualities.
So did
He
you
was a
guys?
great father.
Oh.
He didn't necessarily financially care for her, but he loved on her. He doted over her. She looks so much like him. So he did. He doted over Taylor. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go. So that you go up there to the
Yeah.
hospital and
Yeah.
you find out that he's
It just looks like he's laying there sleeping. So, I'm thinking he's going to come out but no, he didn't.
Hmm. So then what happened?
He passed away and I was just like,
And now he's you said he was
he's 22.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he passed away. Sorry.
No, you can cry. Don't worry about it.
So, yeah, so
Did his family know? I mean, were you guys in touch with his family or?
yeah, she was there. His mom was there. His brother was there. They were there.
Did they also know that they had a granddaughter?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So, he passed away, and I left there just broken, just at the end. Like I'm like, this is it. Where can I run from this pain? Where can I go? So sorry.
No, you don't have to. Please. This is
No,
like for
sorry.
real. This is your life.
So the next day I went to my mailbox and there was a letter from him. So I pulled the letter out and I started to read it, and you just almost knew, like he knew he was going. He's like, "You're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're so beautiful. You're just like, I can't wait to get out. And let me tell you about this. I got saved in here. Let me tell you about Jesus." And I
Oh
was
my
like, "What?"
gosh.
I'm like, "What's he talking about?" He's like, "Let me tell you about Jesus. I've encountered him in here in jail." He said, "And I've changed forever. And when I get out, we're gonna follow him together, and our lives are gonna change." I mean, I still have the letter going on and on, and I'm just like blown away. So that's when the
Okay, Tia, question. Now, how long was he in jail?
not very long, not very long, a couple weeks,
So he
maybe a
had like
month at the most.
okay, so he had like a massive encounter with the Lord.
He did. That's how sweet Jesus is.
Oh my
That's how good he
gosh.
is.
Well, this is what's amazing. You're going to see him again.
I know. I can't wait. It's
How
like I can't wait to
exciting.
see him again. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's when the supernatural experiences started happening to me. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, there's another side. Like, is this Jesus real? So the pain got worse and worse and worse. And I started having these encounters with lights and dreams and just things that were like, I was like, what? Like, one thing was we were going down to visit the grave, his gravesite, and I kept hearing a voice tell me the stone is on the wrong grave. And it was so real, this voice. I'm like, what? I'm like, why do I keep like I had my friend with me? The stone is on the wrong grave. And I'm like, who is talking? Like somebody is talking to me. I'm like, am I losing it? Like I didn't know what was going on. So I told my friend I was riding with, I keep hearing this voice tell me the stone is on the wrong grave. So we get there when we had put the stone on the wrong grave. It was way across the cemetery. And my friend was so mad at me. She's like, "You came here before." Like she went off on me.
Oh my
She was
gosh.
scared. She was like, "You came here before and visited the grave and you're trying to act like she was freaking out." And I'm like, "No, I so these are the things that are happening to me." So
Oh,
I can audibly hear the Lord speak to me. Audibly.
that is awesome.
So
But that back then you didn't know what to do with it.
no,
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was going on. I was just so it got so intense for me that the things that were happening and the pain got so intense that I said to Jesus, "If you're real, I need your help. Help me." And boom, everything changed.
Mm.
The world lit up. I saw the world in a different light. I I was different. I was changed forever. I can't even put into words. So that's how I got saved. That's
Okay, so and now you're like 25 then or 24?
I'm about 24 years old.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, how are you caring for your daughter?
My mom had taken over by that point. because I was like a train. I got saved, went with the Lord. My mom had already taken over with the baby after he died, and so she wanted her anyways.
So like she lived with her and
She
you lived
did.
somewhere else?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So I lived with her for a while and then she wanted me to leave. And so I did. I came to know the Lord and I just completely backslid.
Mhm.
I backslid into this insanity. You get, if you walk away from the Lord
Mm.
after you have encountered him, it just gets
Wow.
bad,
God, I hope people hear that because it's so
bad.
true. It's like you
Don't
can't.
do it.
No. All right. So your mom told you to go. Now where how were you caring for your daughter? Were you
So I wasn't. I went
so
off on
she
a chance. I figured, oh, Taylor's safe there. Let me leave her with my mom. And my mom's like, you're not taking her. You can't stay here and you can't take her. So what are you going to do? So yeah, I went out back into the streets, back into the world. And then, yeah,
okay and
I started dating another drug dealer.
okay.
And I just kind of like pushed God to the side. I felt like it was almost like he wasn't working fast enough for me. And I wanted that. I don't know. I don't know.
Did you ever go to church at that point? Like after
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
Did there was a church gather
There, I
around
got
you?
church hurt like immediately. I was looking at men, people too much.
Mm.
How can you help me and not looking to the Lord enough? I see where I made my errors. So yeah, I went right back out into the world and
Okay.
I just spiraled out.
So now you meet a drug dealer
Mhm.
and what does your life look like now?
So a doctor put me on Xanax
Okay.
and I got highly addicted to Xanax. Like
Mm.
it was my blanket on a cold night. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I had found the solution. I didn't feel nothing. I didn't care. And I mixed it with alcohol
Mm.
and weed. I smoked. That was my cocktail. And I used that for 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
30 years every day. I had little breaks here and there where I'd say, let me go back to the Lord. And I didn't like the way I felt. Like I'm like, I don't like the way I feel without drugs. I don't like it.
Mm.
So yeah.
When you say you like the way you felt because
I didn't like who I was. I
okay.
had no confidence in myself. I had no security. I was still looking at people for
Yeah.
help and I wasn't looking to the Lord. It was just a mess.
So were you looking for the Lord while you were wasted?
I I don't know. Listen, and then 10 years after Charlie died, I'll just get to the kicker.
Okay.
Um I had a baby.
Okay.
So I had a son. He's 25 now. And so I did manage to stay sober with the pregnancy with him. And God audibly spoke to me about him, told me he was going to be different. And he ended up being born. He has autism.
Okay.
So my son was a year old and my family just started dying. So I read Psalm 91 and it's 10,000 may fall at your side, 1,000 at your right hand. I forget how exactly
But it
how it
shall
goes,
not come
but
near you.
that just lifted off the page and I just knew. I'm like, something is going to happen. So my whole family passed away in a year and a half.
So all right. So let's go back. What happened in those 10 years though?
Just mayhem.
All right.
Running the streets, dating guy after
So
guy.
just any guy. So it was you didn't
Yeah.
stay with anybody.
I did get with Trace together with Trace's dad, but I immediately ruined that in the beginning, you know,
Okay.
ruined that. So my son's dad. So we went back and forth for years.
Was he a drug
Unhealthy.
addict as well?
No, no,
So
not.
you met somebody that wasn't.
He was good when I met him.
Okay.
He was good. And at the beginning, I did him wrong and he just was never the same.
Right.
I ruined the relationship, but we still tried,
Right.
you know.
And
So
how old are you now at this point?
I'm 57.
No, not now. Like are
Oh,
you
oh, oh, oh. I was so I had Trace at 31.
okay.
Yeah, 31 years old I had Trace. So yeah.
So okay, so then you met his dad and then you decided to when you found out you were pregnant, you would not do any drugs?
So I said, okay, that's enough with this guy. I'm done with him.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
okay, that's it. And I went home. I was convinced him and I were done. I was over with him. And I went home and it just popped in my head. I said, wait, I haven't, my period this month. I was like, weird. So I took a test and boom, I'm pregnant. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm attached to this guy, and he wanted me to have an abortion.
Mhm.
So I had a lady come to me at a restaurant I was working. I did not know her. And she begged me. She said, I saw your child. He's going to change your life. Do not have an abortion. So I did it. And he changed your life.
Wait a minute. So she was a stranger
A stranger.
that you were like waiting her table.
Yes. And she cried.
Could you tell that you were pregnant?
No, she had no idea.
That is the Lord.
It was a couple of days after I found out I was pregnant. She popped up at my restaurant. I had waited for her, asked her for, I waited on her, asked her to pray for me because I was feeling strange. And she pops up 3 days later and she's like, can I speak to you outside? And I said, yeah. So we went outside and I said, wait, before you say anything, I want to tell you something. I just found out I'm pregnant. The tears just streamed. She said, I had a dream of a baby in a bathtub. She said, and there were angels in the room, in the bathroom. She's like, I'm begging you not to abort this child. He's going to change your life. And I said, she's like, and it was a beautiful baby. I was like, okay. So
Wow, look how God just
Yeah.
sent somebody to you to.
She moved me into her home.
Oh my gosh. So you were done with the dad though.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then she moved you into her home. That is
She moved me into her home. Yeah.
only God could
Yep.
talk really like could talk someone into doing something like
Yeah. Stranger.
to have a stranger come in. Obviously you had, background of issues to take you in. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then you stayed with her while you were pregnant?
No, I stayed with her. I moved in with her after I had the baby, but she took me to all my doctor's appointments. She was with me when I had my sonogram. We found out the sex of the baby.
Okay.
She was really there for me. I don't know. The Lord waited on her heart.
That is
That's
awesome.
what she did. Yeah.
Sometimes God will have us do those things and it may be inconvenient, but you're like, no, I got to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a big purpose behind that. So, okay, so then you have the baby, and then what's your life like?
So I have my son, and man, I went right back into it. Right back into the Xanax.
Did you leave her?
Who?
The lady?
Yeah, yeah. Yep. So
And so you took your son with you?
I did.
And
Been with me the whole time.
how did you raise him?
I was a functioning addict and I raised him. And that kid saved me. He saved me from destruction.
Yeah.
God used him. So he saved me from being alone because at 33, same age Jesus was crucified on the cross, I lost my entire family and I had him.
Okay, so tell me what happened with your entire family.
So they just started dying suddenly.
Your father?
My mom, my dad, both of my grandparents, 3 months apart, everyone would pass away. And both of my uncles, who were like my brothers, I was raised with them. So within a year and a half, I was familyless. I was standing there alone with a baby.
Oh my God, what happened to your mom?
She had an asthma attack and killed her. Mm-hmm.
And then your real father?
My real father, he had a hepatitis and he died.
Is that from needles?
Yes. He actually, that's a whole, man.
No.
He got saved before he passed away. Yeah. Yep.
And then what about the stepdads?
I don't know whatever really happened to my stepdad. I kind of talked to him here and there, but he moved to Oklahoma, so I never really saw him again.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know.
And what about the father to Trace?
Oh, he's still in the picture.
Oh, he is. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
He takes care, he was a faithful dad. Caring wise, yeah. He helped me a lot.
Did he know that you were still addicted to Xanax?
Oh, sure. He had an idea. I was a mess. I was functioning though. I held a job. I did everything I needed to do to take care of my son. But at night, I would use every day. And I would get up the next day and I'd go to work and I could distract myself with work and from the pain. But as soon as I got off, I just start using again.
So that would be your cocktail.
That was my cocktail, yeah.
Okay. So now, who watched the baby during the day?
He would go to his dad's. I had people daycare, not daycares, but people that would help me, and most of the time he was with his dad. Yeah. And I met another guy. I was with him for 7 years.
Okay.
So, he was there a lot, and that was a nightmare.
So another drug addict?
No, well, yeah, he smoked a lot of pot.
Okay.
That was it, but he drank a lot.
Okay.
He was a big drinker.
So did he try to take Trace in as a son, or?
He did. More of a control issue,
Mhm.
not more out of love. He was very controlling.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so did he know that you were an addict?
Oh, yes. Yeah. He knew I was.
So did you just meet him like at a bar or something?
I met him on the street at his house.
Mhm.
I met him through a friend, and I went to go drop the friend stuff off at his house, and he was there, and that's how I met him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just basically this whole time you've just been going from, like just addiction to addiction,
Yes.
staying
Man to man.
and man to man,
Looking for
love in all the wrong places. Yes.
Mhm.
So where's God in all this during this time?
I got into the new age stuff. I pushed God on the back burner.
Why is that, do you suppose? What was in New Age that seemed so much better?
I was insane on Xanax. I did not think correctly.
Mhm.
That is a bad drug. It's bad. I mean, you're in a fantasy world, and you're delusional.
Yeah.
I was delusional, and I really, I have a really close friend, and I was showing her all my crystals. I actually led her to the Lord at a young age when we first, I first got saved, and she's still my friend to this day. But I was showing her all my crystals, and I turned the phone back to, and she said to me, "What happened with Jesus?" And I got so mad at her. I didn't speak to her for a long time.
Oh
Like,
my
how dare she? But she told me the thing I needed to hear.
Which was?
What happened with you and Jesus? Mhm.
And then you said,
I didn't say anything. I just got angry about it.
no, I mean, in
I
your
got
heart.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the drugs, man. I just let him really. I found that thing that wiped the pain out, and it was it worked fast. I didn't have to do the work like you do with the Lord.
Yeah.
And that got. Mm.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're out of time again. Oh man. So we've got a little bit more to talk about. We haven't gotten up to today and to the girl that I met, at the restaurant. So wow, what an incredible story. So also want to remind you guys, these testimonies are not just for you, they're also for anybody you know. And I'm sure you know someone that's going through something maybe similar, something, I don't know, just that through the struggles that she went through, and we know that it all turned out good. So I want you to please share these videos so that you can help somebody in their struggle with whatever it is that's going on in their life, whether it's men or addiction or both, or whatever. So I just know that testimonies are very important. God's word says that we are healed by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And so this testimony is awesome. So we thank you for watching. Go ahead and check out healingjourneystoday.com. And that's the website that takes you to all the stuff that we're doing. We need your help on a lot of things. So just go there. There's too much to even talk about, but just go there. You'll find everything that you'll need. And so we love you so much. We appreciate you so much. We also have a newsletter that if you would subscribe, then you will get that newsletter. If you become a partner and you subscribe to the channel, you will definitely get this newsletter. In the newsletter, there's so much. There's like so much wisdom, so much information about what we're doing. So check that out, and we will see you guys next time on the journey.